Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. Man, they've got all kinds of materials that are cutting edge, helping you build your project, not just for today and tomorrow, but make sure that thing stands forever. The test of time. Drive it. Nudura, cultured stone. They've been around for 100 years, but that doesn't mean they are in any way resting on their laurels. The Hines family won't abide by that. They do great work, and they will help you create the do-it-yourself project that you've dreamed of. All you need to do is get down to A.G. Hines Company in downtown Knoxville to start your project. You see the website right there? Visit them today. All right. At least 5 different media outlets, I think it's 6, but we had 5 that I threw down here. Action Network, Athlon Sports, Bleacher Reports, Pro Football Focus. They're huge on this guy. And 24/7 Sports, your brand. They all rank James Pearce as the #1 pick in next year's NFL draft. Wow. Edge rusher. Everybody wants an edge rusher. There's no question. He's put up some great stats. Here's what Josh Heupel said when he was asked about it this week at the Big Orange Caravan in Chattanooga, I believe. What's being said has no chance to be the reality of where you want to be and what you want to have happen if you don't work and compete the right way and you don't invest every single day the right way. He had another comment at another stop this week that sounded somewhat similar. Both the comments made it sound like, yes, it's a great honor. It's a great opportunity. You got a long way to go, kid. You better keep focused, do the right thing. You may want to read into that there may be a, why do you say that? Perhaps there's a concern of you not being serious and letting it go to your head. But at any rate, my question is, and I'll start with Bob. We talked about this with Tyler and Will on the radio a little bit on Monday. Is he, and I'm not going to say #1 pick because anything can happen. I think a quarterback's always going to be the #1 pick in this day and age. But is he as good as a top 5 pick in your mind?
In my mind, no. And the reason is I go back and compare him to a very recent former Vol who was a first-round draft pick, Derek Barnett. I have not seen anything from James Pearce that makes me think he's as good right now as Derek Barnett was when he got drafted. I think it was 13th by the Philadelphia Eagles. And you watch Derek Barnett, and you could tell he had some special skills. I mean, his quickness, the way he could lean and get low and get around tackles. So far, and we use the phrase, I think that Pearce looks like a one-trick pony to me. He's a speed guy. And when he gets stopped at his first move, he's stopped. Now, the NFL also is looking at him as being a player that can be an outside linebacker. He could drop into pass coverage and not just simply an edge rusher. But right now, no, I would say I would not take him in the top 5 picks.
So you still got work to do to be a top 5 pick. All these people saying he's a #1 pick. Ryan, what are your thoughts? Is he to that level, or is some of this, the hype's taken off a little bit?
I think he is to that level because the NFL is looking at potential. Yeah. They're not looking at polish necessarily. And I think, yes, he's still a raw talent in some ways. But
you're telling this to me, the New England Patriot fan who just drafted Joe Milton?
Exactly. But it's hard to turn down a guy that's 6'5", 242 pounds or whatever he is now and has the kind of length and speed off the edge that he has. So I think he is a big-time talent. He's got to harness it all and continue to develop, and Rodney Garner's a good coach to get him there this year. But the message there, obviously, from Josh Heupel, keep working because you're not there yet. You've got to continue to keep your head on straight and do the right things on and off the field. But I think he has that kind of skill set. And to your point about Derek Barnett, I actually think he has more raw ability than Derek Barnett because he has that untapped potential still. Yeah, it's just hard to find guys with that kind of speed and length.
I think he's a better athlete than Derek Barnett. I also wonder how much did that 52-yard pick six against Iowa help his cause?
Yep.
To show more versatility from him. When you look at the #1 pick, the guy I looked at wasn't so much Derek Barnett, it's Myles Garrett. Do I think he's as good as Myles Garrett, who was the #1 pick, who played at A&M? The answer to that is no. I don't think he's as good as he is. I do see Pearce as a top 5 pick. I don't see him as a #1 pick. But again, that pick six against Iowa, I think, showed some athletic ability that the NFL is going to like.
Yeah, #1 is difficult for what you said. Just if there's a quarterback that is good enough to go #1, or a team is desperate enough needing help with that position, they'll go that way. When you turn to top 5, I think James Pearce has a really good chance to be there. This past draft, it was very offensive heavy. Do we see a shift back to, okay, some teams need some defense help after some offensive tackles went? So Mikael Williams at Georgia is getting some talk there. He may be more polished all around. If Pearce can show more as a run defender, if he can show more moves as a pass rusher, he made a huge jump from his freshman season to his sophomore
If
year.
he, yeah,
If he
we're
makes
talking
another
right now.
jump,
If we're projecting another jump, then I would
Yeah.
say sure he can be. But based on what I saw last year, I'm with Bob. We're the old guys in the in the balcony
In the
for
balcony.
the Muppet Show. Yeah.
Well,
but I agree with Bob that after what I saw last year, I thought he was good. Thought he was real good. But I'm like, okay, he's a great speed rusher. What else you got? Show me. Great interception return. I want to see more. I don't see him coming out and being, if we're saying he's going to be this and he's going to be that this year, okay, but
Right.
that's still a projection.
Right, but part of it is I think we have to project if he's gotten better, he'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
Like Carson Beck right now, I can't say. He looks like a number one pick at quarterback. But a year from now, with another season in college playing, I think he could become that. So athletic
Fair.
traits and comparing to everybody else who still have to play another season of college football, Pearce is up there, I think, with the best in the country from an athletic
Well,
standpoint.
see, and here's what I come back to, though. You look, his stats tailed off as the season went. He was spectacular early, and then, I mean, he did have the big interception return in the bowl game. But his stats, and I think it was because guys figured him out. Now, for all of his athletic ability and everything, which he has, and I'm not in any way saying he's not a great football player. I just don't see him right now as being in that top 5-ish, top 10-ish. I think right now, if he went about where Derek Barnett went, okay, that's fine. But I think as the season went on, the better offensive lines figured him out.
That would be the highest Vol draft pick since who? Who was the last top 5 Vol pick?
Eric Berry.
Barry?
Yeah.
Was he top 5?
He was 5th.
He was
I
fifth.
was
Darnell
thinking
Wright
he
was number
7th.
10.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say
fifth,
Tom
okay.
Bullwinkle.
Now, I would actually argue he's not a one-trick pony. You remember the Texas A&M game? He pushed the right tackle back into Max Johnson for a sack. So, I mean, he's shown power to me in addition to the speed.
And that's where the NFL goes wrong. They see that highlight, they go, that's it. They don't see the other plays where the offensive tackle put his hands on him and his game.
But his pressure rate, though, was, what, 3rd in the country, I think, and according to Pro Football Focus. So, I mean, he had some really good
I'm going to be
analytics.
setting up a betting booth outside.
All right. When we come back,
Chuck will be there.
when we come, it's already out there. He beat you to it. When we come back, UT has sold out its season ticket allotment for the 2nd straight year. This is the healthiest UT football has been since. We'll debate that next. Coming back on the Sports.